Hey guys, Get Level here, and today we're going to be creating a full overlay setup in Streamlabs OBS without using any other software. Now technically I've made a video about it, but it's probably outdated now, so I think it's time to make another one. Making a full overlay setup within Streamlabs OBS is absolutely not impossible. It's actually quite simple if you know the limitations. Obviously, I would advise you really know Streamlabs OBS before doing it. Everything I'm gonna do in Streamlabs OBS is actually possible also in OBS Studio. We're just gonna be using Streamlabs OBS because adding stuff like stream labels and alerts and stuff like that is simpler. Okay, we're here in Streamlabs OBS. This is my normal stream setup, but we're gonna start from scratch. By the way, you can get that transition for free. It's an After Effects project. Just watch my videos, Anyways, so top of this scene list, I'm gonna go click on the name of the scene and then gonna click manage all so that now I can create a new scene collection. So create new, boom, it's gonna clear it out. And now we can call this whatever. Let's actually call it whatever, boom. That's the scene collection we're using right now, right? Wait, no, it's not. It's called this one, whatever, because that's the one that's active right now. Okay, cool, check mark. We're done. Just click done. All right, so creating your own graphics within Streamlabs OBS is not as complicated as you could imagine, but also not as easy. You need to understand little fundamentals of graphic design. Really, you need to just have eyes. And even then. All right, so just like any graphic design you're doing for your own brand, you need to know what your color scheme is. It is pretty much the most important thing when it comes to your branding. So if you don't already have a color scheme, you can come up with a 2 color or 3 colors. I usually like 1 color, so like black and white, and then 1 very vibrant color. But if you're really wondering, you can just go to Google and type like color palette and get some inspiration from there. If you already have a logo, for example, just pick the colors from that logo and then go from there. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do in this scene, we're gonna add a source. So we're gonna click that plus on top of the source thing, and we're gonna find color source. All right, this will be our background color. All right, we're gonna call this one BG. I'm not gonna spend too much time naming stuff. It doesn't really matter. So width and height, you're gonna go 1080p, so 1920 by 1080. Boom. And when it comes to the color, you're gonna click here and choose a color. I'm gonna go with some sort of, I think I'm gonna go with blue and yellow, just because it's a pretty popular color combination, and apparently it gets more clicks on the thumbnail, so we'll see. All right, so background color, I like to get my stuff dark so that I can use the main color to highlight stuff, as long as white. So I wanna go with something like a dark blue. All right, if you are picking your own color scheme, like now, this is the first time you're picking a color scheme, you might want to save those hex codes just for later. This is pretty good. Let's create another color source, and this time we're gonna choose our main color, what I like to call. Let's go with a brighter blue. As I said before, I like my stuff to be like bright. It really captivates people. Also, if you're like, if it has to do with gaming, I think it's good to have very, very bright stuff. There's no real reason to have like soft colors if you if you're doing gaming. 1080. Remember that you can stretch and crop those things, so don't worry about it too much, I'd say, for now. Let's keep this like that. I actually like it. And I'm completely improvising this, so I'm gonna have my thinking face on for a while. Okay, you know what? I like that. And let's pick our third color. I don't want to get too bright, but so far so good. So in order to crop stuff in Streamlabs OBS, you can hold Alt and then crop it. Since it's a single color per color source, it doesn't matter if you stretch, crop. This time you get a pass. I usually tell people don't stretch anything. You can hold Shift, I believe. Oops, I'm not holding Shift. Hold Shift to stretch. And yeah, you can Control Z to undo your actions. All right, you know what? I like that. This is kind of like our background. We're gonna keep it that way. If you want anything to be animated, you can go on a copyright-free website, a stock footage website, and download some animated background, maybe add like a color key to it and add it to this. And then we're gonna be duplicating this to create everything else, really. Okay, so let's say that this is, well, first of all, we're gonna group it up, and then this will be like, we're gonna build our starting soon screen from there. All right, so I'm gonna select everything, hold Shift, click group, and we're gonna call this one background. All right, we're gonna rename this scene to starting soon, and we're gonna start building from there. Now, a cool thing that we can do is I'm gonna select those individually. I'm gonna Control C, try to click away, and then Control V. Okay, so I have something different here. And I'm gonna crop this, and I'm gonna I did not crop at all. That's fine. That's fine. Do not panic. Do not panic if this happens. I can't crop multiple sources at once. You know what? I don't mind. I'm gonna double click on that background just to change the color slightly. Okay. That way I can know where to crop. You can, if you want to make it precise, you can, for example, click on the background, see how many pixels are at the bottom here. That's 480. And when you click back here, you can really crop it to 480. Pixel perfect, literally. It's not perfect, but I can't see the difference. So there you go. Now it's supposed to be perfect. All right. And here, let's already add some text to make it look like something for now. Okay. We're going to call this starting. As usual with the text, you want it to be big. It's better to have it too big and then you have to scale it down than to have the opposite. Otherwise, it's going to get pixelated. If you have a small text in the font size and then you have to blow it up, it'll get pixelated. Here you have an option called text transform. You can make everything uppercase. I love this font so much. I'm going to use it. Okay. It's like a very square font, which is good because we only have to work with rectangles. So might as well have a font that reflects that. Okay, so I like that background. I'm going to Control C, Control V. And this is going to be our chat spot, basically. What you can do, you can already group this, call this title, so that you can then move it around all grouped up. If you see me bobbing my head, I'm actually listening to synthwave in my Bluetooth headset earbuds. I'm gonna put that up there. Remember that the order of appearance is the order of the list. So if something is underneath something else in the list, it's gonna be underneath it and in real life on your screen, in your display. And duplicate this again. Okay, so this is the part where knowing the hex code is actually helpful. You can make everything very like thin. It usually helps out selling the idea of professional graphic design, but also try to give everything a room to breathe. That's why it's cool to group up stuff, because now I can just move it around. Of course, if you're smarter when naming, if you're way smarter when naming your layers, it'll be easier for you. Okay, I'm gonna group this up. We're gonna call this one chat. My background won't collapse. Hello. This is what we have so far. So far, so good, I'd say. Okay, so we have all the colors saved. Okay, now we have more room to breathe for the starting soon part. Nice. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the labels bar. I'm gonna make it kind of big so I can see what I'm doing. So at this part, if you want to import like images for your labels bar, you would just add an image. So you would go source, image source. We're gonna call this one cheer. And then, you know, find yours. You should have a folder with all the icons, but just import the icon of bits or whatever you have. I actually have a GIF. That's even better. You can find this on Google. I'm going to add a filter to it though, because it doesn't match my color scheme. So I'm going to add a color correction filter to it and let's see what we can do with it. So do we want it to be blue? Do we want it to be yellow? You decide. Well, I decide. So you actually get more options than with Photoshop because you can import GIFs and stuff. You can use the arrows on your keyboard to precisely move things around. That looks okay to me. I'm gonna duplicate. Let's add another image. This one will be for, so we have cheers, let's say subs. I don't think I have an image for subs. Maybe a star? Yeah, a star will do. Okay, for example, you see this image is not PNG. Oh, it's not transparent background. So don't panic, we can get rid of that white background anyways. So I'm gonna right click on it, go to filters, color correction. Oh, not color correction, color key. And then the color, we're gonna pick custom color and we're gonna pick white. Then we'll play around with the settings until it matches what we want. Make those borders a little smoother. Boom. And now we can add a color correction on top of it. As you can see, I want pretty much all my icons to be pretty white. So lower the saturation and then bump up the brightness and contrast. Lower the contrast if you want to retain a little bit of details, basically. Yeah, let's say we like that. Again, if you name your every single layer, it'll be easier, but we're not doing easier today. Try to keep your icons consistent. For example, I have this right there, but it has a circle around it, and you don't want like a stroke around it around just one icon. You want to keep everything consistent. So I'm actually gonna do the text thing, and here I'm just gonna add text. In this case, Arial is just fine. I like the shape of this. I don't like this. We don't have time. All right, now that we have our pretty much our labels bar set up, let's add the actual labels. My Amazon Echo just responded to me for some reason. Add a source, go to Streamlabel, and let's start with cheer. Let's go with recent cheer, most recent cheerer. Boom. You can change the font if you want. What did we go with? Square font. Is it gonna be readable? Yeah, that's nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. So let's grab this and place it here. And we're gonna add a filter to it to make it scroll. Filters, boom, scroll, and then horizontal speed. Go with something not too distracting, like that is usually fine. And then we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna see where we want to crop it, right? Because we're gonna limit the width. That way, if anyone has like a huge name or whatever, it will still be the same width and not mess up with your design. I'd say 250 here. Yeah, you know what? 200 is actually fine. I like it. And make sure this loop here and boom. All right, this is the part where we're gonna cut some corners and go a little faster. So we're gonna right click that, click copy, and we're gonna duplicate a duplicate. We're gonna paste a duplicate, not a reference. Because reference, if you modify the original one, it'll modify the other one too. So 946 is what I'm gonna look at. All right, I'm gonna right click again, paste another duplicate. All right, now I know the name is the same right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and go to right click the first one where we add the filter, click copy filters, right click the second one, paste filters, boom. Right click the third one, paste filters. You're supposed to rename them so you know which one is which, because they're obviously not all the cheer label, but we don't care. We're rebels, right? Okay, now the cool thing is that you can group up all of that. So let's click that last part and all the way up here. And now we can call this labels bar, and it's all grouped up. Turn it off, turn it on. I actually kind of want to make it smaller. And then place it somewhere here. Let's actually add the chat here. So as you can see with the groups, we only have background, title, chat, and then labels bar. Not to complete it, it's 4 layers basically. What did I say we're gonna do? We're gonna add the chat. So plus, and then chat box. And then we're gonna customize our chat in order for it to kind of fit here. Take this to the side like this and put it here. You might want to click on that little arrow to pull out your chat and actually type in it so we can see what the chat would look like. Let me turn my thing off of emotes only. Right here, we can see it's not tall enough, but I actually want it to be a little smaller. So I'm gonna scale it down a little bit and then we'll make it taller. I never remember if it's gonna go up or down. So let's test that. So I have my chat settings here and top left. Let's add 700. Okay, it adds from the top. So I kind of like this size, so I'm gonna make it thinner. So instead of 600, I'm gonna make it maybe 400. All right, and that's a solid 900. Yes, keep a little margin. I should really have it not be 450. Something that you wanna activate is in source. Make sure that shutdown source when not visible is not ticked. That way, if you refresh or if you go back, it doesn't reload the chat. Your chat will stay there. Okay, now if you want to do some custom CSS to make like the chat name colors match, that's even next level, but we're not going to do that. Also, because I suck at CSS. All right, technically you have your starting soon screen. Let me make sure that my chat box is in my group, in the chat group. So that's titled here. That's cool. If you have a logo, you can like put it on top here and have this down there. All right, technically... We did a starting soon screen with no real issues, really. So your chat box should be higher. All right, so what we can do is copy all of this. I believe we can paste reference. Yeah, we can paste a duplicate. So we can add a new scene, This one's gonna be our... Actually, let's do the basic scenes before, so be right back. Oh, I can only paste reference. So if I change here, it will probably change the first one. Let me check. Yes. So we're gonna just duplicate the text here. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste a duplicate. I'm gonna delete the original one. Well, from that one. Please don't delete it here. Okay, we're good. We're gonna write back our settings soon. Okay. And this is our text. Now that is the right text. Put it back in the title. There's multiple ways of doing this. I'm really not doing the most time saving ones. So boom, we have a be right back screen. Let's do the same thing. This is gonna be ending. So keep in mind, the rest is references. So if you're changing anything in there, it's gonna apply to the rest, basically, to all the other scenes. Which is kind of cool. If you want to change your whole color scheme, you can just double click on those color things once and it will have a ripple effect throughout your whole stuff. Keep in mind that cropping does not affect references. So let's copy this and paste a duplicate. And this is like stream ending. Yeah, okay. Let's make an intermission screen. Let's paste a reference. I place things like this for a very particular reason, and it's that I can really move it around and it will apply for every scene. This is like your lobby scene, I guess. Lobby or changing server. It depends what you want to call it. I like calling it intermission, and this is gonna go up there. Let's add a camera. So video capture device. That's my C920. Let's go with that here. Okay, that's my camera. I'm using my DSLR, obviously. Let's drag this here. And we're gonna try to make it match. We're gonna be doing some cropping to make it look as good as possible. It's like, this doesn't look too bad. So when I said that it would hit the reference, remember that it doesn't have to do with position or cropping or stretching. It's mostly filters, for example, or if you just change, you know, the text or whatever. Okay, this is cool. We have the camera in place, but I kind of want to have some of the colors. Yeah, I think that yellow bar from the chat box, that's not bad. Of course, you can like create a whole square and then put your camera in there. It might be the simplest way to go about this, but I like it. What do you think? Let's create a gaming scene. So this is my game scene. I know there's a couple of things that I want in my game scene. That's gonna be the labels bar and then a camera overlay, right? So let me copy labels bar, Control C, and paste reference. If you don't want to spend any time, just copy that background, come here, paste duplicate, scale that down. Remember, I'm holding Alt or Shift to stretch or crop. And then underneath here, I can add like a game capture. That would be a game capture, right? And this would go underneath everything else. And you have your game here. Let me put like a random game footage just so we can see what it would look like. So that would be you. Obviously not playing Beat Saber like that, but you get an idea of what it would look like in action. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's check out the intermission screen. All right, not bad. Okay, stream ending, all of that. Okay, now let's take it a step further because, you know, this is too basic. You can add either an image from like a Creative Commons or copyright free image in the background to make it more rich. Stratting, has it been saying stratting this whole time? Or you can add video. So there's a website that I like to go because everything is pretty much, you know, stock footage, and it's pexels.com. And you can go there and type stuff like abstract loop, and you will find a bunch of cool stuff. I don't know if they're sponsoring creators. You guys should sponsor me. And from there, you can either already add videos directly, or you can modify them with, you know, color key and stuff like that. There are some pretty cool loops that you can use. Of course, you can type stuff like Galaxy or whatever. Let's get this one. And make sure you read. You see here it says free to use. You can click on that. It will tell you what is allowed and what's not allowed. You know, my internet is struggling a lot, but just click free download here and you can donate to the creator and you can follow them. And once you're done downloading, you can just go add a media source and I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, now that you have your video, you can technically just drag and drop it straight from Chrome here. Drag it and then drop it. Boom, it's playing. Of course, it's like 4K, so it's huge. You can right click on it and then go transform and then fit to screen. Boom, now it fits to the screen, and you want to put it in your background group. This will not modify the references, so we will have to duplicate it. And you want to put it on top of the background. Boom, technically this is your thing. Now you can right click on it, add a filter. As you can see, my CPU is getting, this is where the CPU is getting kind of high. Let's go with color correction. And here in the color correction, we can add one of our colors, either yellow, or I'd go with dark blue because that's what our original background color is supposed to be. Okay, now that might be too dark, so play around with it a little more. Or actually, let's keep it like that, and then let's try to bring up the highlight and then just lower the opacity a little bit. Still too bright. Anyways, as you can see, the principle here is to play around with those sliders until you find something that you like. Oh, there we go. I forgot my saturation was up. If you want to say high fidelity, just turn down the saturation completely and it will really take the color that you want it to take. So now we're really in our color scheme. Technically, you can also try to key it, but I don't like keying the colors too much. Yep, that's fine. Still looks okay. So I'm gonna right click on it, click copy. I'm gonna paste it everywhere. Obviously, you know, do this in the first steps if you want it to be animated. I wanted to show you a normal without animated background one. Here we're gonna paste a reference, make sure it's in the right spot. Well, same thing for the intermission. So it's like a very subtle animation. You don't want it to be crazy. And in here, you don't have to put it really. You can like make it conform to your camera overlay if you really want that, but I'm fine with that. So we've done it. We've created a full overlay setup within Streamlabs OBS. It can be improved, but I only did this. What is it? Took me an hour to make this while explaining everything, so it would probably take me 30 minutes if I wasn't explaining every single step. And with some preparation, probably even shorter than that. It is a time-consuming thing, though, so don't think that someone with Photoshop will not be able to make it faster. Obviously, they will, but this is it. Just by adding that media file makes it really CPU intensive. Before that, it really wasn't. So keep that in mind when adding animated stuff left and right. If you guys end up using this tutorial to make your own, please post it on Twitter and tag me in it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But that's pretty much the tutorial. I really wanted to show you guys that even within your broadcasting software, you can create your overlay setup. You don't need Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects and all of that. If you really want something, you can get it done. Also use Adobe Sparks, which is a free service to create overlays also. So yeah, share this video with your streamer friends, especially the ones that make excuses. And follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitch. I actually have a show where I review your streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. CST called Stream Review. And follow me on Twitter. This is where I am the most active, and also Instagram. Anyways, click the notification bell, click subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Go out there, make me proud, get a level, out.